Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Jada and Stephanie argue over Everett/Bobby at Sloan and Eric's apartment. Marlena visited Eric, who participated that Sloan had been upset with him for having involved Nicole in the christening form without asking Sloan. Marlena indicted Eric of not being sensitive to other people. Marlena added that she only wanted Eric and Sloan to have a happy marriage. The discussion shifted to Tate's arrest. Eric participated that he agreed with Brady's belief that Holly was not telling the full verity about the night Holly had overdosed. Eric recalled that Holly had been fugitive when he'd spoken to her about the night of the overdose. Marlena soon prepared to leave, and she and Eric hugged. At the DiMera manse, Holly expressed wrathfulness at Nicole for Nicole and having barred Holly from seeing Tate. Holly continued to swear that Tate was innocent. What happened on New Year's Eve was not his fault. It was mine, Holly said. Before Holly could admit the verity, Nicole criticized herself for not being further attentive to Holly. Latterly, Holly remained mute about the night of the overdose. Nicole left. Holly used her phone to search for the number to the halfway house and in trouble to communicate Tate. Holly also telephoned the halfway house. Holly used a disguised voice to claim that she was Teresa. In Tate's room at the halfway house, Tate read audibly from a journal he'd been writing in. Tate regretted that he'd passions for Holly, given that she had not recompensed his passions. Tate said that maybe it was a good thing that Holly had not stepped forward with the information that Tate had not been responsible for Holly's overdose. Perhaps I do not need her in my life presently, Tate suspected audibly. Just also, Tate was told he'd an important call from Teresa. In the lobby a moment latterly, Tate was surprised when he learned that Holly was on the phone rather of Teresa. Holly said that she abominated what was passing to Tate, who reminded Holly that she could simply tell the verity about the night of the overdose. Holly claimed she could not admit the verity because of how it would impact Nicole. Tate sympathized, and he said that learning the verity about Holly's overdose could get Nicole to go off the rails and destroy Holly's family. Holly was surprised when Tate said that Holly should not tell Nicole. Tate asked Holly not to worry about him. Holly was touched when Tate told her to take care of Nicole. At a table in Horton Town Square, Stephanie met Everett/Bobby. Stephanie informed Everett that she did not suppose it was a good idea for them to work together. Stephanie said that she did not know what name to call Everett. Everett admitted that he'd started to realize there were further gaps in his memory than he'd originally allowed. I cannot flash back my father at each, he said. Everett recalled that Marlena had recommended hypnotherapy, and he admitted that he was hysterical of what might arise. Especially since I was told I was a monster, that I did awful, insupportable effects, he added. Stephanie said that it was enough clear that Everett had done everything Jada had indicted him of. Stephanie posited that remedy could help Everett realize he was simply a different person than who he had been in Seattle times before. Stephanie said that she wouldn't vanish on Everett. She added that if effects were meant to be between her and Everett, they would figure them out together. Everett asked Stephanie not to give up on him, and he left. Stephanie sat alone with her studies latterly. A short while latterly, Stephanie spotted aloof Jada. When Stephanie said that she and Jada were both victims of Everett's falsehoods, Jada said that she did not see Stephanie as a victim. Jada appertained to Stephanie as the other woman. Stephanie was shocked when Jada said that Stephanie had helped end Jada's marriage. Stephanie sympathized with Jada's hurt and wrathfulness, but she claimed that she would no way known that Everett had been married. Jada indicted Stephanie of not wanting to know that Everett had been married. Jada raved that Stephanie had had a perfect little life with Everett. Stephanie pushed back, and she asked where Jada's allegations stemmed from. Jada continued to affront Stephanie, and she lashed out at Stephanie for showing empathy for Everett. Stephanie reminded Jada that Everett was confused and had many musketeers in Salem. Poor bastard. Have a good day, Jada remarked before she stormed off. Stephanie stood with her mouth anticipatory at Jada's words. In the domain, Everett encountered Marlena, who was on her way home for the night. Marlena pledged to keep working to help Everett recapture his recollections. Everett said that the study of hypnotherapy made him hysterical of what he might learn. After some discussion, Everett agreed to meet with Marlena for another remedy session. In the tabernacle at St. Luke's church, Nicole lit a candle. As she prepared to fold her hands in prayer, Eric intruded her. Eric said that he'd gone to the church to speak to a clerk about the reading for Jude's investment. Nicole said that she had no way constantly attended church, but she said that she had been more open to religion since her Andy.J's baby had failed. Eric encouraged Nicole to keep her faith. Eric said that running into Nicole at the church felt like fate, and he added that he'd a concession to make. Eric participated that he was thankful that he and Nicole could still be musketeers after everything they had been through. Nicole agreed, and she noted that Eric's words were not important of a concession. Eric and Nicole said that their fellowship meant a lot to both of them. They agreed to meet the following day for Jude's investment, and they bade one another good night. In Harris's room above the Brady pub, Harris entered a surprise visit from Xander. Xander thanked Harris for helping Xander make bail. Xander swore that he had not shot Harris and that he was a changed man because he was a father. Harris asked Xander to join him for a drink. Over scotch, Harris participated that he knew Xander had not been responsible for the attempt on Harris's life. Harris asked if Xander had any idea who was responsible for the anonymous textbook and the large cash sum that had been transferred to Xander on the dusk of Harris's firing. Xander said that he would assume D.J. had been responsible, but he snappily added that he no longer believed D.J. was responsible. Harris was tight-lipped when Xander asked what Harris believed about the firing. "So, are you sure you do not flash back anything at all?" Xander asked Harris. Harris prevaricated when he claimed not to flash back anything about who had shot him. Xander sounded skeptical of Harris's claim. Jada and Everett, still married according to Rafe, debate whether divorce went through Days of Our Lives, DOL. Spoilers reveal that Jada Hunter, Eliakantu, will have a new problem on her hands during the week of April 1st to 5th. DOL suckers know Jada hates Bobby Stein aka Everett Lynch, Blake Barris, with a burning passion, so her world has formerly been thrown into fermentation thanks to him showing up in Salem with an identity extremity. Unfortunately, that identity extremity could complicate effects when it comes to Jada's divorce. Days spoilers say Jada will reach a point of despair as she works to prove to Rafe Hernandez, Galen Gehring, that she's no longer wedded to Bobby. That tells us Rafe will be induced or at least explosively suspect that Bobby aka Everett is fairly still Jada's hubby. There may be some enterprises about which name was on the divorce papers and whether they were filed duly. Still, Jada easily wouldn't be as induced as Rafe since she's always been adamant about the end of her marriage. That's why Days spoilers say Jada will be working overtime to prove that her divorce is sanctioned. This sounds like a situation that could eventually go either way. It's possible Rafe's hunch is right and that Jada will discover she's technically still Bobby's woman. In that case, it could take indeed longer for Jada to fully cut ties with the man who now goes by Everett and has no memory of their life together. Of course, effects could change for Everett once he undergoes hypnotism. It's indeed possible some old passions for Jada could bubble up since Bobby must have loved Jada to marry her formerly upon a time. On the other hand, it's possible Jada will find the evidence she's looking for and breathe a shriek of relief. Perhaps this whole dread could serve as a way to nudge Jada and Rafe into a marriage of their own. Anyhow, our rearmost days prognostications point to some drama for Rafe and Jada to work through in their relationship, so stay tuned for updates on whether they can overcome the hurdles ahead. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Jada will do whatever she can to prove she's not fairly tied to Bobby presently, so we'll bring you news on what's coming for her character.